Hey there everyone, this is Selena. Today I'm going over some of my top 5 vegan protein choices. And so, what is vegan? Let's start there. So vegan is anything plant-based, essentially. So as long as it doesn't have a face or it did not come from an animal, so this includes milk, cheese, honey, any sort of processed food that has come from an animal or the animal itself, we are trying to avoid. So this basically just means no dairy, no eggs, no meat, more or less. So top 5 protein choices. Number 1, this is in no particular order. I've got Larry and Lenny's, or Lenny and Larry's Complete Cookie. This is my favorite kind of the Snickerdoodle, simply because it's coated in sugar, and I think it's between this and the lemon poppy seed are my favorite ones. So Snickerdoodle, and what makes this vegan is, as I mentioned before, it has no eggs, it has no dairy, and that is really hard to find sometimes when you're looking for protein sources. And the protein source itself does not come from whey. Whey is a protein source that is derived from milk, and so if you're lactose intolerant, it's going to negatively impact your digestive tract. So this is all vegan, no egg. They do use soy, I believe. I will post that down in the comments just to make sure, but there's no palm oil, it's fresh baked, no high fructose corn syrup, yay. It does have natural sugars, so like cane sugar. So per serving, there are 2 servings in here. You've got 11 grams, but no sugar alcohols. So if you're trying to avoid sugar alcohols, this is the way to go. Now, I just came across this over at Meijer. I'm in the Midwest, but I'm sure you can find this at any grocery store as well. It's Body Fortress Complete Plant Protein. And so what that means is it is a complete amino acid source of protein. And they don't use soy in here, so the protein blend is pea protein isolate, brown rice, hemp seed protein. And then the rest of it, of course, is like all their other artificial flavors and sweeteners and whatnot, and whatever makes it solid. So always keep an eye out for what they're actually using to make it more than just that protein blend, because that can be bad for you too. But for the most part, it seems to be okay. And I've tried it, and if you just use a little bit of water or almond milk, it turns into an awesome chocolate mousse. So I have chocolate here. They also have vanilla and cookies and cream. And this is probably my favorite protein mix so far. And as far as sugars go, there's only 3 grams of sugar per scoop. 1 serving is a scoop, there's 140 calories, and this is probably the best deal that you can find too. It was like $20, and there are 18 servings per container, so that is awesome. And as far as the fats, carbohydrates, protein, there are 3.5 grams of fat, not bad. Carbohydrate is 8, with 4 grams being from fiber, so 4 net carbs, pretty decent, especially if you're following a low-carb diet. The sugar, that's naturally occurring sugars plus the sugar that they add to it to make it a little more palpable. And then protein, 20 grams. And that is all plant-based protein too, so awesome. No whey, no digestive problems, no animals. So that was number 2. This is number 3, the No Cow bar. Now No Cow, this has kind of a weird texture, I'm not going to lie, since they are trying to make it low carb as well. So they don't have any whey products, no eggs, no dairy, so awesome. A little background information on me. I'm lactose intolerant and I'm also allergic to eggs. So I've been switching over to more of a vegan plant-based diet, and I have been feeling awesome, and I just wanted to share this with you. So the No Cow bar, no bowl, no whey, hope you can see that. It has, 1 serving is a bar, thankfully, and there's 200 calories here. Now the only bad part about this is it has 25 grams of total carbs and 18 grams of fiber with 1 gram of sugar and 4 grams of sugar alcohol. So if you are diabetic, this might not be the best way to go if you're watching your carbs, because the fiber still does cause a metabolic exchange in our body. So there is still some digestion going on with that fiber, so it does cause a little blip in your blood sugar. So just be wary of that, but there's 20 grams of protein in here and the taste is pretty good. I know it's not as good as the cookies or the protein mix, but it's still decent. And as far as the ingredients go, it's pretty clean. As I mentioned before, this is all vegan, so luckily there's no whey thrown in there. And they do the same thing as all the other ones, the pea protein and the brown rice protein, because it's a cheap protein source, so why not? And so they do have stevia, erythritol, and monk fruit in here, as well as I'm sure a bunch of fillers to get to that fiber mix. So like I said, 18 grams of fiber. Try not to eat more than one of these in one sitting because you will not be feeling great. So that was the No Cow bar. Next, I've got the Lara bar. And so there are only a few ingredients, and that is like their whole gimmick there is, we only have 3 ingredients or 5 ingredients and it's whole food. Well, it's still not whole food because it is processed, but I will eat it once in a while. So Lara bar, I've got apple pie here. They also have banana chocolate chip, carrot cake, pecan pie, and each of them, since they do have the natural ingredients in there, like the pecan pie bar is super oily, but it's a little bit lower in sugar than the apple pie. And the carrot cake, oh my gosh, I haven't tried it yet, but it looks awesome. And that is a lot higher in sugar and fat too. So be mindful of that, but this is vegan. So the ingredients: dates, almonds, unsweetened apples, awesome, walnuts, raisins, and some cinnamon. And if we flip it over for the nutrition facts, what we've got here is servings 1 bar, 200 calories, 9 grams of total fat, and the carbohydrates, once again, it's kind of high, 25 grams of total carbs, but there are only 4 grams of fiber, so they didn't add a bunch of filler. And like I said, their pride and joy is that it only has a few simple ingredients. So if you're trying to keep it simple, Lara bar is the way to go. And now as far as the protein and the sugars are kind of high. So there's only, like I said before, there's only 4 grams of fiber and 25 grams of carbs. So the sugar is where most of those carbs are coming from. 18 grams of sugar. They're naturally occurring sugars, but still, without that fiber from the real fruit itself and those nuts, you kind of have to watch out. This isn't really a meal, it's more of like a dessert snack. And then protein, 4 grams. So not the best, it does taste pretty good. And as I said before, if you're trying to go a more whole food type of vegan, this is probably your best way if you don't have time to make your own. And last but not least, this is another thing I found, Evolve, the plant-based protein bar. Now these are also pretty decent. I like them a lot. This one is peanut butter flavored, and so is the No Cow bar. Seems like most of them are peanut flavored. So looking at the nutrition facts here, we've got 230 calories per bar. So pretty much all of the bars are somewhere around the 200 calorie range. The Lenny and Larry's cookie, that was 400, so 200 per half. And then the scoop of protein mix, 140. So this one is 230. And 12 grams of fat, 24 grams of carbs, and this is probably I don't want to say the worst one because it's still good, but 24 grams of carbs and only 2 grams of fiber, so that's 22 net carbs. And then 9 grams of sugar with 7 being added. And then the protein, it's a bit better, 10 grams. So this is closer to an actual protein bar, and it does have the sugars, which is good. A little bit lower than the Lara bar, so awesome. And now we flip it over to look at the ingredients. So peanuts, that's the very first ingredient. Good so far. Now we have soluble vegetable fiber, whatever that means. They process the fiber out of the vegetables and put it into this bar so we can enjoy it. And then peanut butter, pea protein, and then cane sugar. The next one is just a few fillers here, then dates, cashew butter, and so on and so forth. And what you're going to find is they have different types of seeds and nuts thrown into these bars. And that is where we get the complete protein. So we have incomplete and complete proteins. Incomplete are found in most of our vegetables. So like nuts have protein, but they are an incomplete protein source. They don't have all the amino acids that are necessary for our bodies to function. But if you mix those almonds with your oatmeal, you have a complete protein source. And that is what I wanted to point out with these bars, is they all have complete protein sources, so you can feel confident that you're not going to be deficient in any sort of protein by having some of these bars. Or if you're making your own, just make sure to mix a few different types of nuts and seeds. You know, rice and beans is a complete protein source. You know, barley and seeds, anything like that. And I do have another video on proteins that goes into a little more detail on that. And of course, I will always post updates. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet so far, please hit the like button at the bottom and subscribe to my YouTube channel to help me build and grow and to get some more research-based videos out there. So thanks again for watching. Tune in next time, Monday and Thursday.